Lying is a behavior that everyone encounters at some point in their life. Sometimes it's a lie to your friends about what grade you got on a test, or when you're asked how you feel and you reply with "I'm fine," knowing deep down you are definitely not fine. Lying happens to the best of us, whether we like to admit it or not. After all, it's a normal part of human nature. Growing up, we learn early on how to lie, even as kids. So if you're thinking you're not a liar, the odds are that you might be lying to yourself right now while watching this video. But that's okay, because not all liars are the same. Starting off with one of the most common of the bunch, the white liar. This type of person will often tell you that your hair looks good or that your shirt really suits you. But the reality is that they either don't care or they think you look hideous. When you think of someone lying, you might imagine someone trying to be deceptive to get something they want. But for the white liar, their only goal is to avoid hurting the other person's feelings. Sometimes it's a lie to encourage you to do your best, even though you're struggling. Other times, it might be to avoid conflict. For example, let's say your partner cooked dinner for you. You take the first bite and realize that the food has no taste at all and is very difficult to chew. Trying not to start a fight, you say that the food is cooked to perfection, even though it's a little undercooked and you know you'll be sitting on the toilet later in the day while a food battle breaks out inside your stomach. Okay, I think you get my point. The white liar usually doesn't have any crazy plan when lying, just like the compulsive liar. This is a type of liar that will make up just about anything, ranging from lying about what they ate or if they got good sleep the night before, even though they stayed up until 3 a.m. playing video games. Their lies come out automatically like a reflex, which could be related to deeper problems like anxiety or avoidance. These liars are easy to spot, and often make them look untrustworthy. Compare this to the pathological liar, who creates lies to make themselves look better. There's always that one guy at the party that talks about his insane rock climbing experience up the most difficult mountain ever, or the time he saved 100 pandas from extinction when he traveled to China. These might seem like crazy examples, but the pathological liar will come up with the most convincing stories you will ever hear with the greatest attention to detail, leaving you to question whether he might actually be telling the truth. And it's not always what they say they achieved. They might talk about how disciplined they are about going to the gym and working out, even though they give up at the first sign of struggle because they can't stop thinking about eating junk food on the couch. The problem with this type of liar is that they sometimes believe their own lies. It sounds crazy, but delusion is a real thing. The more they believe their lies, the more delusional they become, which in turn becomes part of their identity. Even though pathological liars love to boast about their success, they don't necessarily try to hurt other people's feelings, unlike the sociopathic liar. These devious beings roam the world looking for one thing and one thing only: power. Just like how a chess master plans ahead before each move on the board, the sociopathic liar plans ahead to influence people for their own benefit. In other words, they use their lies as tools to get what they want. This happens a lot in the business world. Let's say you want to buy your girlfriend a brand new car. You have an idea of the car you want to buy her. Simple but effective. So you go to the dealership and show the salesperson the exact car you want to buy. Before you're able to make the deal, he tells you that there's a different car that costs more money, but has a lot more safety features and gadgets, like bigger tires and heated seats. He gives you examples why this car is better than the simple one you came for, and just like that, you're driving home on big tires with warm butt cheeks. The salesperson was able to pressure you to buy the expensive car so that he could get more money in his pockets, leaving you to pick up another shift at work to cover the cost. This type of liar, like the salesperson, are the ones that you have to watch out for, because they will always plan to use you for their own personal gain. The sociopathic liar can sometimes be hard to deal with, but nothing comes close to the narcissistic liar. These people act like they are superior to everyone and everything they do. They create elaborate stories of being the victim in any situation that involves conflict, and tend to shift the blame to make themselves look innocent. They also have hidden agendas, especially in relationships. Their goal is emotional control over their victim. The narcissistic liar will start a relationship by showering their partner with compliments and gifts, which is known as love bombing. This is a tactic used by the liar to make the other person quickly fall in love with a fake version of themselves, just like someone wearing a mask. The problem is when the partner becomes attached to the fake love story, which leaves the partner vulnerable to emotional damage. Once the liar senses their partner's emotional investment, they begin to change their behavior, gradually removing the mask to reveal their true intentions of control. This shift can leave the partner confused and unable to recognize the toxic pattern they're trapped in. The narcissistic liar is one of the most emotionally draining liars to ever encounter, but they share a common goal with the last one on the list. This liar will leave lasting emotional scars to whoever they can get their hands on. This is the type of liar you need to avoid at all costs. Who I'm talking about are the gaslighter liars. The gaslighters take lying to another level by using deception to control and confuse someone, typically in a relationship. They lie to bend and reshape reality for their victims. For this, we'll go a little deeper into the techniques that this type of liar uses to destroy their partner. To make this easier to understand, let's look at a scenario about a couple. Let's call the gaslighter Sally and your partner Bob. Sally and Bob have been dating for over a year now, but Bob has noticed something feels a bit off about Sally. She leaves the house randomly without saying goodbye and hides her phone from him whenever they are together. One night, Bob finds her phone sitting on the table when he sees a guy flirting with her over text. When Bob finally gets the courage to confront Sally about the message, she asks him why he doesn't trust her, saying things like "you're thinking too much" or "why are you being so insecure?" Bob is surprised by her response, causing him to question himself whether or not he read the message correctly or not. Over time, Sally continues to lie to Bob by making him confused about his decisions and causing him to be emotionally dependent on Sally for validation. These type of liars can be very dangerous to deal with. Dealing with liars can leave you feeling confused. Thankfully, there are many things you can do to help heal after dealing with a liar in your life. Here are some things you can do to help heal after dealing with a liar who may have distorted your reality. 1. Acknowledge the abuse. You need to first recognize that the abuse occurred and don't blame yourself. 2. Block them out of your life. If possible, cut all communication with them like social media. 3. Focus on self-care. You need to prioritize yourself and focus on things that bring you peace and happiness, such as an old hobby that you haven't done in a while, eating healthy meals, and prioritizing your mental health like getting enough sleep. 4. Seek support from those who you trust and those that can support you, whether that means talking to a family member or talking to a specialist. Both are great options for talking through your experiences. Lastly, healing takes a lot of time, so remember to be patient and focus on yourself. With that being said, make sure to like this video if you found something useful, and if you'd like to check out my previous video, click on the screen here.